how are we doing today? Steve Mingle Final Web Design, and today I want to talk about what is going on in the tech industry. We are seeing massive layoffs, things are not looking good, and how to protect yourself going forward. So let's get into it. Final Web Design, this is Steve. Alright, so as you may know right now, there's going through a lot of tech layoffs right now within the United States. Everything from Twitter to Facebook, all these big companies right now are going through a position of laying off tech employees. And why is this happening? It's happening because a lot of these companies got way too big and are not profitable. Now, I have worked in corporate America, with big companies, small companies, education, universities, colleges. I have worked in government websites and all much smaller scale than some of these tech companies right now. So right now we're seeing tens of thousands of layoffs happening within the tech industry. And what I could say is that this is almost to be expected. First of all, the economy is not doing very good. Everything right now is actually in the downward spiral, as everybody can see. These companies are experiencing big losses, especially a company like Meta right now, which is just bleeding money with their new metaverse. And I'll make another video how I feel about the metaverse. However, they're pumping billions and billions of dollars into a project that ultimately may or may not work in the end. And so you're seeing people like Elon Musk, who just recently took over Twitter, and he is also one of these people who understands business more on like a business element, a business standard. And what's happening is that there's way too many people that work in tech that do not do enough work at the end of the day. Now, I've worked on both sides. I've worked in the corporate America, I've worked in the entrepreneur freelance. And the thing about working in freelance is that you are always working. You're always hustling, because at the end of the day, if you're not working, somebody else is. They're making money, they're making business, they're making sales. And so you want to make sure that if your company is losing money, that you need to continue to make the necessary changes to ensure that you do not ultimately close. And these tech companies, again, there's a lot of, if you've ever seen the videos of a daily life of somebody at Google or Facebook or Twitter, what's happening is that basically these companies, these people come in and there is not enough work ethic behind it. And I'm sorry, these are complicated websites, they're complicated applications. I get that, I understand that, I've worked on projects like this. However, the amount of people that are needed at these companies is absolutely insane. There's not enough development technology that you need to be doing to update all these things every single day. Now, we're on a web firm. I work on probably 10 different websites every single day. And what's happened is that I can multitask, and yes, I have a team, but it's a small team. And I know that they're very productive because the tasks being done are very addressed, and we're working on multiple websites, multiple applications, multiple marketing campaigns. And so some of these companies just got way too big, way too fast, and they're not profitable. What's happened is a lot of them are making capital investments. People are paying amounts for stocks. Come out to a position where they need to cut the losses. They need to start being profitable companies. And that's where I see it now, is like they are cutting they're stopping the bleeding. They're trying to make sure that going forward they have the capital and the money to make sure that they continue to grow properly. And that's where a person like Elon Musk comes in, because he's run multiple businesses. He understands how things like SpaceX, how things like Tesla, how these companies are able to be sustainable, because he's a businessman. And people that were previously running these companies just kept growing and growing and growing, thinking that the sky is the limit. Well, unfortunately, the sky is not the limit. You do need to make sure that everybody's being an effective worker, especially when you get into some of these six-figure salaries and higher, because that's what it costs for a tech worker in the U.S. So we're seeing tens of thousands of layoffs, and I don't see it stopping. I actually think that things are about to get worse, and more people in this industry are going to continue to find themselves losing their jobs, and that's a big problem. That's not going to be solved overnight. So what I could say is that if you are in the tech field, you need to be staying fresh. You need to be staying motivated. You need to be continuing to learn new skills and grow, because ultimately at the end of the day, a lot of these businesses are going to be removing tech workers. and there's going to be a lot of people out there looking for jobs. And that's not just in the US, that's in India, that's in Europe, that's all over the world right now. So I would say if you are in the tech industry, stay motivated. The end of the world, it's not the end of the world, but you do have to realize that we're going through a process where it's not going to be the same as it was in the 2000s or even the 2010s or even early 2020s as we move into 2023. If you do not continue to realize that these jobs are bleeding, then you're never going to find yourself moving forward, because ultimately a lot of these positions will not be there in the future. And that's just the cold hard truth. And these companies needed to do this. This isn't something that I thought would ever happen, or didn't think would happen, I guess is the way to say it, because I saw this coming. I don't know how some of these, I look at these small web firms here in like Miami, and a lot of these companies have gone under because they just went too big with too much, and they got $10,000 a month in rents, and they got 20 US employees, and they got tons of overhead and computers and software and all these expenses. And it's like, yo, how, if you're selling even a $3,000 to $5,000 website, you know, that doesn't really make up for how much the costs are. So with that being said, guys, I would say that right now, as the tech industry goes through a lot of these bleeding moments, you got to stay vigilant if you're trying to get in this field, to make sure that you're hiring the right people who are working hard, people who are aggressive, people who want to win, people who want to grow. And that's not easy to do. And unfortunately, this was something I saw coming, and I think it's going to continue to come. So with that, I'll catch you guys in the next video. If you like it, give a like and subscribe, and we'll take